So it was Ewan McGlinchey, the stunning Northern Irishman, who won the very first junior Supersport race here in Britain on Sunday at Donington, and he therefore leads the championship heading into the second race this weekend. We should have had 3, but because of the reshuffled schedule, it's only 2 in the end. And of course, this very much mirrors the results of race 1 on Sunday. What a great shot across Donington Park. The sun is actually shining now. It's Greg Haynes and it's Alex Murley with you. Alex, you're competitively racing in the Supersport 300 World Championship, and we'll talk more about that as the race gets underway as well. But here's the grid for this one then, based on the fastest laps of Sunday's race 1. So it's Ed Best on pole position this time from Matt Bauer and Luke Fevey. His younger brother Cade right behind him from Ewan McGlinchey, the race 1 winner, and Mikey Large-Taylor, who went well in the KTM RC Cup towards the end of last year. Row 3, Will Lathrop, Jordan McCord, who goes well in the wet, so he might be a little bit disappointed that it's dry. Then it's Oliver Johnson, Lyndon Netherlands, Max Lofthouse and Nathan Drury then completing row 4. Alex Murley, real selection of bikes in the field. We don't have any Hondas on this grid at the moment, but we do have the Yamahas, as you're riding, of course, on the world stage, the KTM, and the new Kawasaki 400, and wow, they're quick.
Yeah, no, the Kawasaki looks to be a really competitive bike this year. It's, I think it's locked out the first 2 rows here at least. But you know, the Yamaha's a nimble little bike and it's fantastic to ride. So see if some of those boys can get up there in this race as well.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. You can see the backing on the numbers. It's green for the Kawasaki's, it's orange for the KTM's, and it is blue for the Yamahas. Here we go then, lights top left corner of your screen, they are out, this race is go. Away we move with Ed Best from pole position on the number 44 machine, the 17-year-old. Are they all going to get through cleanly down into Redgate for the first time? Round the outside, great stuff. That's Ewan McGlinchey, would you believe, the race 1 winner, and he's in the lead. Great start.
Always throws them together, Redgate, turn 1 Donington. So, but I thought Ed Best was going to hold it into turn 1 there, but it's all going to get a bit tight.
And Luke Fevey was looking up the inside as they got to Redgate for the first time. Still some wet patches locked down through their craners and into the old hairpin. It's 3 abreast into the old hairpin. And Luke Fevey went all the way around the outside there on number 76. Up the inside comes his younger brother, Cade. And he goes second now. And he knows the track extremely well. He raced in the RC Cup last year as well, as they come up to McLean's for the first time then. Best with the advantage. Cade Fevey second, not for long. Through comes Best, trying to make amends for a bit of a difficult first lap here from pole position, but we see such different lines and such different overtaking opportunities with these bikes than with the super bikes. It's electric off the line, and 58 is Jordan McCord, and he's 8th, and he's at the back of this leading group. Great start though for the man at the front, that's Ewan McGlinchey. He is impressing to say the least, isn't he?
Yeah, these boys actually need to watch out for the leader, because if you know he gets away, it's really hard to close a gap in 300, but Cade looks to be doing a brilliant job into the Fogarty S's, closing up to him nicely.
Yeah, Cade Fevey led every single lap yesterday, apart from the last one. He was very, very annoyed. He said it was so bitterly cold here at Donington that he lost feel in his right hand and got it all wrong on the last lap of the race. But up the inside, then comes Best. There's almost contact. Luke Fevey on the outside. Cade Fevey on the inside, nips through. That's the second time, Alex, on one lap that he's taken 2 in 1.
Yeah, no, Cade just had a turn around, and I think he apologised to Ed there, because I think he felt it was a bit harsh, even for Cade's riding. So no, but look, Cade's done a brilliant job there, closing back up to the front. Is he going to have it into lap 2?
Best up on the curbs, out of Goddard's, he's side by side with Luke Fevey. Towards us they come, then McGlinchey with the lead. Up the inside comes Cade Fevey. Now he grew up in Silverstone and still lives in Silverstone Village, so racing very much in the blood for Cade and Luke Fevey. Luke on the right hand side there, easy to spot Luke Fevey because he's on the blue liveried bike, and there's a contact here at the last corner through Goddard's. Well, it's so often the scene of drama, isn't it, here at Donington. One of them was one of the Yamahas by the looks of things. We'll pick those riders out in a moment. Hopefully they are both alright, but it's been so difficult through Goddard's all day today. That's where Glenn Irwin had a big incident in the British Superbike practice session on Saturday morning. But back at the front, McGlinchey still in the lead, I can tell you. Cade Fevey is second and Best was third as they cross the line. Here they are, McGlinchey, Cade Fevey, back ahead of Best, and then it's Luke Fevey. I wonder whether these two brothers are going to work together. They're second and fourth at the moment.
I'm not sure if they're actually thinking about working together. It's all for one out there, but Yeah, no, these Donington conditions are just so difficult. Donington in the wet typically is quite a slippy track, so no, these boys are doing really good jobs just staying on it, keeping the tyre temperature up, and oh, there's a good move from Cade going into the foggy S's.
He's looking really confident, isn't he, Cade Fevey? Hopefully not too confident as we get towards the end, but he knows he can win one of these. As I said before, he led every single lap yesterday, apart from the last one. He's been out in Spain, just like you have over the winter, training with Leon Haslam, but up the inside comes Ewan McGlinchey. Relatively new on the BSB scene is Ewan McGlinchey, but he is impressing. 19 years old from County Derry in Northern Ireland, back at the front. He's controlling the pace, I think I'd say, and it's 17 and 92 who went down last time round. One of them then James Lewis Blair. Oh, that's really unfortunate for James. And Caleb Smith as well, the Solihull West Midlands rider, who's being mentored by Chas Mortimer, the former TT winner and Grand Prix racer, who's won in the 500cc class, the 250cc class and the 125cc class over the years.
I'll tell you something that's a bit interesting. You know, I've been speaking to quite a few of the riders this afternoon, and I was speaking to Ed Best, funnily enough, and he said they got the bike delivered to the circuit from stock on Friday. So
on Friday. Wow.
Here on Friday, so they've had to build it up Friday and put all suspension in it, and you know, it's just moved into the lead, so it looked to have worked.
It seems to have worked, doesn't it? That's impressive stuff then for Ed Best's team. Of course, he was up there in the standard class of the Motorstar series, and that hasn't started yet this year. That starts next time out for BSB at Brands Hatch. But look at this top four. This is incredible. And I noticed Matt Bauer is in 5th place and ran really wide. You'll see him. There he is in the background. That's Matt Bauer. Cade Fevey looking over his shoulder to his brother Luke. But Bauer ran wide coming out of Redgate. On this lap, and the chatter there on the front of Luke Fevey's bike.
Yeah, well, I think these, because they had very limited time on track this weekend, and as Ed told me, the bikes have been coming late, so I think, you know, they still haven't got the settings right in these by a long way, so they're going to be quite soft, quite reserved. So I think, you know, from the next round on, when they've had a bit more time on it, a bit more time to develop, that we're going to be seeing what the bikes are truly capable of.
Oh, just pause for a moment there. I thought Cade Fevey might have another look up the inside. Alex, you've been testing with the World Championship machines and quite a few of the other teams and riders around you.
Yeah.
These Ninja 400s seem rapid, don't they, in a straight line?
Yeah, no, it's they are a big step over the 300, the Kawasaki 300 that we had last year, and you know, we could see that from the testing times in Aragon. But you know, I think the Yamaha's still a strong package, the Honda's a strong package, the KTM can be just as strong. So, you know, the rules that have been done by the FIM for this championship work, and there's going to be changes to them, and that's the brilliant thing about them. You know, they can change the weight and the rev limit to make the bikes even at any point. So yeah, it's a championship that works, and it's a championship that's bringing out fast riders.
And the sun now, that must be distracting them a little bit there, down through the Krona curves. That sheen as well off the puddles that are down there. We've had a lot of water collecting there earlier on in the day. It's pretty much a dry line all the way around Donington now, and which way are they going to go? There's still a long way to go in this race. It's a long lap, isn't it, Donington, one of these things. 4 kilometres, 2.5 miles as Cade Fevey again. He's very, very confident under braking, is Cade Fevey.
Yeah, he looks like to have some good feeling in the front, but no, here's such a fantastic circuit on these bikes. These little Supersport 300 machines just produce great racing, and well, around Donington Park, I don't think any class produces some bad racing, so it can only be multiplied here on these bikes.
And look at this, 3 nearly 4 abreast down into the foggy S's. Cade Fevey through the middle, threading the eye of the needle. Through he goes. We had a 5-rider scrap for the win yesterday. It's a 4-rider battle at the moment. Matt Bauer still in that 5th position. We'll keep an eye on his lap times. He's 4 tenths off the leader at the moment. Fevey back through on the inside, but Best was quickest last time round. Fevey deciding to punch ahead to the front here. I don't think we're going to see anybody pulling away, are we? Surely, unless they really mess themselves up fighting away behind him.
Do you think Matt Bauer's closing in the background there, or?
I got the impression he was.
I thought he was as well. You know, we'll have to see what the lap times produce this time round. He set a good middle sector, and let's see where he is now.
Yes, this lap divided up into 5 sectors here at Donington for BSB this weekend. Let's give you an idea of the lap times then. Cade Fevey, fastest lap of the race so far, definitely confident at the front, 52.7. Bauer on a 53.0. That is quicker then than second, third and fourth. So you'd imagine Bauer, if he can just focus here and get his head down, and that must be tricky when you're on your own, catching a group of four in front of you. Can he catch them? The problem is, I guess, Alex, even if he does, will Cade Fauvet still be in touching distance by then? Every time we think somebody's about to start pulling away in the lead, they reel them back in again.
The slipstream effect on these bikes is absolutely massive. It's bigger than Moto 3 because the bikes aren't that powerful, and they punch a huge hole in the air. So if you've got a 2-bike, 3-bike slipstream, that can be, at some tracks, it can be a second and a half, 2 seconds a lap if you get it absolutely perfectly.
It's absolutely massive difference. We'll be at half race distance then at the end of this one. Cade Fauvet towards us. 44 is Ed Best. 2 podiums in Motorstar, 7th overall in the championship last year. Ewan McGlinchey, number 22. Watch out for him. He's the rider feinting to the inside line there from Northern Ireland. And then it's Luke Fauvet just in behind the number 76. He actually out-qualified his brother in the qualifying for the first race of the weekend yesterday. Down to the Melbourne hairpin again. A bit of a wet patch there. They've got to be careful with that. And Luke Fauvet, he's sat there in that 4th position now for 2 or 3 laps. He's settled it down quite a lot. He actually said, Alex, he's lost 2.5 stones since Christmas, working really hard on cardio in particular over the winter. And you, as one of the taller riders in the World Championship, I know have worked hard on that as well. It's absolutely key now.
Oh yeah, you've got to losing weight's free performance at the end of the day, so you've got to balance it though. You can't be too light because you'll feel tired and lethargic, but you can't be too heavy, so such a fine line. But fastest lap from number 22 there.
And that is Ewan McGlinchey. Oh, and down goes Luke Fauvet at the start of lap 6. That's a big one out of Redgate. Hope he's all right. Rolls over. Luke Fauvet then is out of the race. At least he's on his feet, but look at the leathers. Well, it looked worse than it was, I think. Let's have a look then, Alex. He's the rider on the right-hand side of the screen, number 76. We'll see him coming into shot on the right-hand side. This is Redgate.
Oh, he lost it really early in the corner there. See, he was actually a bit further behind. Oh, we got some star points for that though, didn't he?
We did.
The trouble was there, he lost the group just a tiny bit, so he's tried to catch them back up, and a bit too hard in these tricky conditions.
Well, there he is. Luke Fauvet is out of the race. That's so unfortunate. He was right up there and finished 4th yesterday. He was running 4th in this one, and I think that might have caught Matt Bauer out as well, because he was first on the scene, and there's a big gap back now to Matt Bauer. In the meantime then, the sole remaining Fauvet brother is Cade Fauvet, and he leads this race. We're into the second half of it now. What is Ewan McGlinchey going to do? He won the race yesterday. He looks confident here. They all look confident, to be honest with you. Ed Best still there in 3rd position. And look at Bauer in the background. That's a huge gap now back to Matt Bauer. I do reckon he lost out there when Luke Fauvet went down.
Quite surprised how tight Cade's keeping it down into the Melbourne loop there, because every lap he seems to run over a wet patch. I think you'd want to avoid that, but he's maybe just covering his line. But he's doing a good job controlling it from the front.
And a quick word as well on the 18 of Indy off for someone you know well. He didn't start this one, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately he had a technical problem with the bike, so he's going to be back out at Brands Hatch in 2 weeks' time.
So 4 to go here at Donington. Second race of the weekend then for the junior Supersport class. This new class at BSB this year. Cade Fauvet with the advantage. Ewan McGlinchey, yesterday's winner, is 2nd. Ed Best is 3rd. You can throw a blanket over this trio. Any one of them could win the race in 4 laps' time. In the background, top of the hill, look. He's so far behind, you can't. There he is. Matt Bauer coming into shot. That's a big gap back now. That's 6.5 seconds then back to this man, Matt Bauer. Jordan McCord, who was hoping for rain, is in 5th place at the moment. It's not his favourite track, Donington, and he had brake problems yesterday, so he'll be pleased with 5th. Mikey Lards-Taylor is 6th. Then it's Johnson. Leatherland will move up to 8th now, ahead of Lofthouse, Crockford, Drury, Jones, Beach, Aldred, and Glover is up into the points then on the 67 machine. That's Brendan Glover from Dublin, up into 15th now, with Luke Fauvet having high-sided at Donington and managing, luckily, to walk away. But 3 laps to go and then next cross the line, and quite rightly we're focusing on this scrap at the front. Look at that, Ed Best goes left, goes right. Can he get later on the brakes than Cade Fauvet? Yes, he can. Nice stuff from Ed Best into the S's.
Well, we ran a bit wide mid-corner though, so Cade's going to come back at him. Oh, it's tight going into the Melbourne loop now.
Yeah, and this is where Ewan McGlinchey's going to take advantage as well, surely. There's the wet patch, Alex.
He's very tight into that. He needs to be a bit careful, but if he's got the tyre temperature, he should be okay running over that.
Seems to be alright at the moment, and it seems warmer now, doesn't it? It was really, really chilly when they raced in the first race on Sunday. Remember, there should have been 3 races, but it's 2 in the end because of the schedule changes we've had here at Donington. To be honest, it's remarkable we've had as many races as we have. Stuart Higgs and the MSVR guys have done a great job, as they usually do, don't they, in situations like this, getting all of the racing underway. 3 to go. This is lap 8. I just wonder what Ewan McGlinchey's thinking here. He won the race yesterday. He sat in 3rd place. You can see the comparison there in the lap times. It was almost half a second quicker that time round for Best, who is second in comparison with Cade Fevey. But I've just got a feeling about McGlinchey here, sat in 3rd place, watching these 2 in front of him.
Cade seems to pull away out the final corner. His exit seems to be really strong, and it gives him about half a second going into the start of the lap every time.
Oh, there's a back marker coming up as well. They need to be careful here. Is that back marker going to move cleanly out of the way? It's James Bull on the Team Bull KTM. The 390 through goes Cade Fevey, and look, that's exactly what I was saying. Ed Best gets held up. That affects McGlinchey as well. There's another back marker coming up too. This is where a race can be won or lost. They're coming up now to the 67 of Brendan Glover as well, and these guys are actually inside the championship points, but they're now being lapped on the 8th lap of 10. Through goes Cade Fevey, confidently cutting his way through the traffic. I don't think he's won the race there though, do you? They're still close enough.
No, they're still right with him, and all credit to these guys, massive credit, because they haven't had a morning warm-up. Their warm-up got cancelled, so this is, these are their first, at the start of the race it was their first fast laps of the day, so really big respect to these guys. But I think it's going to come down to final lap, final corner, as it always does in 300s.
Yeah, and this is just going to be a dress rehearsal, isn't it, now, for these 8th and 9th laps out of Melbourne. Cade Fevey, Ed Best, Ewan McGlinchey, there they are. So, 2 to go here at Donington. These 3 have been locked together for the whole race so far. At around half race distance, Luke Fevey, who was 4th, high-sided at Redgate. He's all right, he walked away, but it leaves us with a trio then fighting away for the win. And again, Ewan McGlinchey was rapid on that lap, punches through. He has got him at the start of lap 9. Ewan McGlinchey, the Northern Irishman who won the first race on Sunday. Cade Fevey right back underneath him. Cade is desperate to win this one.
Cade's really strong on the power on this bike. He's got great feeling with the rear end here, and seems to be good feeling with the front, trusting it over the damp patches, which is really hard to do in these conditions.
Oh, this is great stuff. New class here at BSB this year, the Junior Supersport class. They'll be racing again at Brands Hatch next time out. They won't be at Alton, but they'll be at Snetterton, Knockhill, Thruxton, Silverstone, Alton Park, and then Brands Hatch on the Grand Prix circuit at the end of the season, as Ed Best nips up the inside of Ewan McGlinchey. It's hotting up now, and there's more back markers coming up. There's 2 of them there, the KTM and the Yamaha, fighting with each other, and they're fighting for points positions as well, so they'll have to give way, but they won't be overly excited to give way and lose too much time in their own battle.
You want to get to these back markers first, just because you can choose when and where to pass them. If you're second, you're having to compensate, and if you're third, you've just got to follow seconds and hope it works out.
Yeah, it's telling as well that these top 3 are all on Kawasaki's as well, isn't it? You can see that from the green background on the numbers. As I said earlier on, it's blue background for the Yamahas, one of them coming towards us. It is green for the Kawasaki's and orange for the KTM. This is the Melbourne headwind. They've got the back marker in the mix as well. Best up the inside there of McGlinchey. That was close with the back marker. That was Jamie Lemazurier just getting out of the way and doing a good job of it too. Yeah,
these guys have actually hit the right place to get them, because they've avoided getting in the fast section. You want them in the slow section so you can outbrake and plan it a bit easier. But there's another back marker coming up. Is that going to affect the final lap?
Well, Lemazurier and Harris Beach did a great job there, didn't they? Into the final lap we go. Then it's Cade Fevey with the advantage. Ewan McGlinchey, who won the race yesterday, wants to make it 2 out of 2, almost runs into the back of him through Redgate, and then it is Ed Best, and surely they're going to catch these lapped riders as well. More of them coming up on this last lap here at Donington, down through the Craners. Look at the speed differential between the back marker and the top 3. Cade Fave very, very strong under braking. We've seen it all race long so far. Let's hope the back marker gets the blue flag. He certainly will. He's seen it and out of the way cleanly. Good stuff there by Isak Aldred, who moves out of the way. That was tight there with Best. It must be so easy when you're being lapped, when you've got 3 behind you. You don't always know how many are coming through, do you?
Yeah, and you dare not look behind you. But I don't think it's actually messed them up too much, which is good. It's going to keep the action tight. But we've got 2 more back markers coming up. It may affect things.
Oh, and Cade Fave will see that as well. And look at that from McGlinchey there. He's almost trying the cutback through Coppice. Not long to go now, though. It's just the run down the straight, then the S's and the 2 hairpins at the end of the following straights. It couldn't be much closer than this. Ed Best is 44. These back markers, they're going to catch them surely when they get down to the Melbourne loop. Up the inside comes Ewan McGlinchey then. Won the race here on Sunday. Up into the lead on Monday. But can he keep it?
He's got really good drive out of there as well. So, I think these guys are actually going to affect them at Goddard's last corner.
Oh, they are, and they're fighting with each other. What's going to happen? Best just tucks in there. They're definitely going to catch these 2. And look, they're fighting so much with each other. Right, this is going to be difficult to keep on top of who's actually who here. Ewan McGlinchey then is the leader. Cade Fave and Best fighting with each other for second place. McGlinchey, I think he's got this one. As Best dives up the inside of Cade. Oh, the leader's made a mistake. McGlinchey runs wide. Cade Fave through, and they're going to be side by side here over the line at Donington. Cade Fave will try and break the toe. McGlinchey, look at him, he's desperate to come through.
Absolutely furious with himself, but well done to Cade for winning Supersport 300 race at Donington Park.
Brilliant stuff. Cade Fave, he wanted that one so badly, and he wins it by less than 1/10 of a second, and less than 2/10 there, covering the 3 podium riders. What a finish, and that's great to see, isn't it? The 2 of them there congratulating each other. That was the winner in 3rd place, congratulating each other. McGlinchey just missed out. He did what he'd been planning to do. He was ahead when he got to the last corner, but he blew it, didn't he? He ran wide.
I'll tell you what, even though they hit lots of traffic on that final lap, the lap time was only a few tenths off, which is really impressive for these guys in tricky conditions.
Yeah, Ewan McGlinchey really got the hammer down there. He set the fastest lap of the race on his last lap, but they were absolutely flying. Ed Best, who finished 3rd, his best lap of the race on the final tour as well. What a start then to proceedings in this brand new class. I do think it means McGlinchey will continue to lead the championship, because it was McGlinchey from Best and Cade Fave yesterday, and it's Cade Fave today from McGlinchey and Best, but it's going to be really tight, isn't it, going to the next round. Well, that bodes very well indeed, I'd say, for the rest of the season. And Alex, very quickly, you're back in action with the first round of the 2018 World Championship for the 300s in Aragon in a couple of weekends' time. How's that looking for this year?
Yeah, no, it's looked really positive. We've had a good winter of development and trying out new parts for these bikes, and it's been interesting for sure. No, we're just ready to get racing now. It's the only thing we can do. We've done all the preparation. We just need to get out there, race hard, and have some fun while we do it.
Yeah, and it was Marc Garcia, the Spaniard, who won that first title in the Supersport 300 World Championship last year. But never mind about that right now. What about the man who's just won the 2nd race here at Donington in British Junior Supersport, this new category for 2018? It is Cade Fave, the 17-year-old from Silverstone, on the Team XG Racing Kawasaki 400. Great to see these Ninja 400s racing in a top-level championship for the first time this year here at Donington Park. He's going to take the back entrance into the pit lane. Look, before they get down to Goddard's, you can see here just how much it drops. It's a story, look, right down there from a first floor to a ground floor level at Goddard's. So look at that, less than 1/10 separating the top 2, less than 2/10 separating the podium finishers. Cade Fave wins for the first time in Junior Supersport. McGlinchey missed out by the narrowest of margins, but it's still a win and a 2nd. Great weekend for him, and the same goes for Ed Best. Matt Bauer then 4th, that's solid, and Jordan McCord, after his brake problems of Sunday, will be pleased enough, I think, with 5th. He really wanted it to rain here today. And Lewis Jones completing the top 10. Points down to 15th position, and look at that, it's Harris Beach, one of the riders with Jamie Le Mesurier, who was really mixed up with the leaders on that last lap of the race. And poor old Luke Fave, classified 18th, 5 laps down, high-sided out of 4th place on the exit of Redgate, but he is okay. So here's how the championship will look heading to Brands Hatch in 2 weeks' time. And it's McGlinchey with a win and a 2nd here, who leads it from Cade Fave, a win and a 3rd, 4 points behind. Then it's Best, Bauer, and Mikey Large-Taylor has banked good points this weekend. He could lead the championship after that first race. He could equal McGlinchey, depending on how things go at Brands next time out.